I'm going to be using 2 of the doll houses from the Dollar Tree. First, I'm going to be scuffing them up with some sandpaper so that the paint will stick. Next, I'll be giving them 2 coats of the Waverly chalk paint in the color white. So now that the paint is dry, I'm going to be adding some more, but for right now, I just wanted to show you guys that the inside I tried to paint black, but the paint did not stick. So if you wanted to paint the inside of your house, then you might want to scuff it up with some sandpaper. But anyway, I wasn't too worried about it. So I'll be using just a sponge. This is one of the makeup wedges, and I'm going to be, right here, I just wanted to show you guys that this house reminds me of an old funeral parlor. It looks like there's, I don't know, coffins or urns or something on the bottom. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start dabbing some of my paint onto my house, just using different colors. I'm starting with black, but I'm just going to dab this on here until I get the look that I want. Okay, so now that I have the houses painted the way that I like them, I'm going to be taking 2 of these wooden planks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be giving them 1 coat of paint. Now that the wooden planks are dry, I'm going to be attaching our little haunted houses. So I'm just going to be hot gluing the haunted houses onto the wooden planks. And I'm going to be placing the house as close to the edge of the wooden planks as possible and keeping them in the middle of the plank. So once they're glued on, the back of the house should be flush with the back of the board. Okay, so this is what they look like after they're all attached. Now I'm going to be adding some of the fun stuff. So I'm going to be using some of the Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree, 1 of these jack-o'-lanterns that I purchased from Dollar General, 1 of these skulls that I got from the Dollar Tree, and 1 of these little dried pumpkins that it's in the pumpkin scented pine cones from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using some of these bat rings that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using some of the DIY stickers that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to be adding this little coffin that I made using some craft sticks from Walmart. I wanted it to look spooky and broken and old, and I think it turned out really good. So now I'm going to be taking some floral wire, and I just wrapped it around a wooden dowel. And I left both ends with the wire a little bit straight. I'm going to be attaching the bat rings to these. So I'm going to stretch out this wire a little bit just to make it a little bit longer. And then I'm going to be hot gluing the bat onto one of the ends. I'm just going to set that aside and let it dry. Next, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to be adding some of the Spanish moss. I'm just going to be adding this to the base of the houses. Okay, now that my moss is all on, I'm just going to be giving it a little bit of a haircut. I'm just trimming off some of the moss that's hanging over the edge. So now I'm going to be attaching the little bat to the roof, and all I'm going to do is just hot glue him to the under part of the roof on the inside. I'll be making more bats and adding them later. So here's what it looks like with the moss all on there and the little bat. Next, I'm just going to be adding this little jack-o'-lantern from the Dollar General. Then I'm going to be adding one of these DIY stickers. I'm going to use this spider, and I'm just going to be hot gluing it to the roof of the house. I'm also going to be taking one of the DIY stickers, that's a little witch, and I'm going to be hot gluing her to a piece of the floral wire and then hot gluing it to the roof of the house. Okay, so now this is what it looks like after I got those all glued on the top. I was looking through the bat rings package and I found these skull rings in there. So I think I'm going to be using one of these skull rings to attach to the front door of the house. So I'm just going to remove the ring part of it, and then I'm going to be taking some hot glue and I'm just going to be hot gluing it to the front door. So I'm going to be taking some of this sparkle mesh from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut it into these little strips here. And I think I'm going to be hot gluing those into just around the windows. So I'm just going to cut little pieces of the mesh, and then I'm going to be adding some hot glue around the windows and then adding the mesh to that. So now I'm going to be moving on to the next house. And I'm going to be adding the sparkle mesh to all the windows in this house also. Then I'm going to be adding the bats just like I did to the first house. Now I'm just going to be adding some of the Spanish moss. Now I'm going to add another one of those skull rings to the front door like I did with the first house. Now I'm going to be adding one of the little mini skulls from the Dollar Tree. Next I'm going to be adding this little coffin that I made. And I'm just going to attach it to where it looks like it's kind of leaning up against the house. And lastly, I'm going to be gluing one of the little dried pumpkins from that pumpkin scented pine cones onto the base of this next to the door. Okay guys, so this is the end of the video, and here are the houses that now that they're all done. I would turn off the lights to show you guys, but you're not going to be able to see it very well, so I will try to get pictures if I can. I'll go ahead and shut off this one light. Maybe you guys can see it a little better, but I think these are so cute. So I love the way they turned out, and I did put 2 tea lights in each house, one on each floor. There is a lower floor and then a bottom or a top floor. So I did put 2 tea lights each. So if you didn't want to do tea lights, you could probably do the little fairy lights from the Dollar Tree. That would work too. But anyway, I think these are so cute, and I just love the way they turned out. And I did add some of the little bottle brush trees that I got from the Dollar Tree and some spooky cloth. But anyway, I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't, because I would love to have you. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, and I wanted to thank you all for watching. Bye!